Imagine an army that fought with nothing but sound, light, and illusion. No bullets, no bombs, just pure deception. Now imagine this. It actually existed. During World War II, while real soldiers fought and died on the front lines, another group of men fought a different kind of battle, one built on art, creativity, and psychological warfare. Before we dive into this unbelievable story, make sure to subscribe and stay with us till the end, because what you're about to hear will change the way you think about war forever. It was 1944. The Allies were preparing to strike deep into Nazi-occupied Europe. Every move had to be precise. Every secret had to be protected. But to win this war, the U.S. Army needed more than just strength. It needed misdirection. Enter the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, a classified unit so secret that even many of its members didn't know the full scope of their mission. Today, we know them as the Ghost Army. Their mission was unlike any other. They weren't there to attack or destroy. Their goal was to deceive, to make the enemy believe something that wasn't real. And they did it with such skill that their illusions could move entire German divisions away from real Allied forces. These soldiers used inflatable tanks, fake radio transmissions, and pre-recorded battle sounds to create the illusion of entire armies that didn't exist. The Ghost Army was made up of only around 1,100 men, but their deception could convince the enemy that 30,000 soldiers were waiting to strike. They were artists, engineers, set designers, sound experts, and radio operators. Many of them had backgrounds in art schools or advertising, not military training. They were, in every sense, creators, using imagination as a weapon. One of their most ingenious tools was the inflatable tank. These massive rubber replicas could be inflated in minutes, transported easily, and arranged to look exactly like a real armored division. From the air, or even from a distance, these decoys were nearly indistinguishable from actual tanks. But that was just one layer of the illusion. They also used sound. Massive speakers mounted on trucks would blast pre-recorded noises of tank engines, troops marching, and artillery fire, sometimes audible up to 15 miles away. These soundtracks were designed to match the fake visuals perfectly, giving German reconnaissance teams no reason to doubt what they were seeing or hearing. But it didn't stop there. The Ghost Army operated on 4 main fronts: visual deception, sonic deception, radio deception, and what they called special effects. Radio operators sent out false transmissions, creating fake communication traffic between imaginary units. Artists painted insignias and numbers on trucks to mimic real divisions. They even created fake headquarters with tents, mess halls, and soldiers dressed as officers, all to sell the illusion. One of their most daring operations took place in the summer of 1944, after the D-Day landings in Normandy. The Ghost Army was tasked with misleading German forces about the real location of General Patton's Third Army. Using their full arsenal of tricks, inflatable vehicles, dummy artillery, fake radio chatter, and sound effects, they made the enemy believe that thousands of men were preparing to cross the river at a false location. The ruse worked. The Germans moved their troops and artillery away from the actual crossing point, saving countless Allied lives. Throughout the war, the Ghost Army conducted more than 20 deception operations across France, Belgium, Luxembourg, and Germany. Their actions often took place dangerously close to enemy lines, sometimes within just a few miles. If discovered, these men, unarmed and surrounded by fake equipment, would have been easily wiped out. Yet they pressed on, knowing that their illusions could turn the tide of battle. Perhaps one of the most remarkable missions came near the end of the war, during the crossing of the Rhine River in March 1945. The Ghost Army staged an elaborate diversion to make the Germans believe the Allies would cross at one point, when in reality, the true attack was happening miles away. Using over 600 inflatable tanks and artillery pieces, loudspeakers blasting false battle sounds, and hundreds of fake radio messages, They fooled German intelligence completely. The result was a swift, successful crossing that helped accelerate the end of the war in Europe. But the Ghost Army's story remained classified for decades. Their contribution to the Allied victory went largely unrecognized until the mid-1990s, when their missions were finally declassified. Many of the men who served had already returned to civilian life, quietly carrying the secret of their wartime role. Among them were future famous artists and designers, including fashion icon Bill Blass and renowned sculptor Ellsworth Kelly. They had traded their paintbrushes for camouflage, their creativity for survival. What made the Ghost Army so extraordinary wasn't just their ingenuity, it was their courage. They fought not with firepower, but with imagination, putting themselves in harm's way to save others. Every fake camp they built, every decoy they placed, every sound they played, all carried the risk of discovery and death. Their impact was immeasurable. Military historians estimate that their deception saved tens of thousands of lives by diverting enemy forces and preventing surprise attacks. They were, in many ways, the unsung heroes of World War II, proof that art, design, and illusion could be as powerful as any weapon on the battlefield. In the years that followed, their techniques would inspire modern military deception strategies, from the Cold War to today's digital era. Even now, the concept of tactical deception used by modern armies can trace its roots back to the creativity of the Ghost Army. In 2022, the United States finally recognized their service formally. The Ghost Army was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, one of the highest honors a group can receive. It was a long overdue tribute to the soldiers who fought their war with imagination and shadows. Their story reminds us that victory isn't always about strength or numbers. Sometimes it's about creativity, quick thinking, and the courage to risk everything for an idea. The Ghost Army may not have carried guns, but they carried something far more powerful: the ability to make their enemies believe in ghosts. If this story fascinated you, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. There are countless forgotten stories like this one, tales of courage, deception, and genius that shaped history in ways most people never realized. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the past, and remember, sometimes the most unbelievable stories are the ones that really happened.